Welcome students, Professor Kevin Taylor here with your Week 3 lecture on the psychology of colour. Colour with a U. Colour is a large part of conveying a visual narrative, which is a part of storytelling psychology. Visual narrative is the conveyance of a message or story through visual means, the expression of creative elements in design. While this may all sound quite lofty, a process limited to grand design, in actuality we all make design decisions every day. When you decide what t-shirt you're going to wear, what trousers, whether to shave your face or back, you're making design decisions that project aspects of your character perceived by others based on their own psychology. The same can be said for the spaces that we occupy. If I walked into your room, a surprise at first, I know, I'd see a tapestry of character that would tell me a wealth of information about you. Is the room messy or tidy? Cluttered or Spartan? Are there comics, books, or art supplies strewn around your surfaces? I'd leave your room with a strong sense of who occupied the space, their interests, and their chosen lifestyle. The use of colour to convey narrative goes back as far as we've had colour, but modern cinema birthed a new lexicon, a language, that is useful in breaking certain aspects down. Normally at this point in a classroom, I'd ask who had heard of the black hat versus the white hat in old American cinema. This concept stems back to when cinema only had black and white, and the visual quality was not particularly high. Scenes would see two characters, usually a good guy and a bad guy, engaged in conflict that usually led to a high-speed horse chase with plenty of six-shooting, rootin'-tootin' gunplay. When these characters moved further away from the camera, it was essentially impossible for the audience to know who was who, so they didn't know who to root for when the bullets were flying. The simple invention of the black hat versus white hat scenario meant that viewers were able to understand who the good guy was at a distance, and pray for a bullet to reach the head of the black hat. This simplistic use of colour and tone to depict a character's moral alignment remains commonplace in modern cinema. A good contemporary example would be Luke Skywalker, an innocent in the first film, depicted here in white and light colours. Later, as he advances in the Force and dabbles with power and morality, we see him depicted in black on the brink of corruption. While colour elicits a range of emotional responses based on the personality of the individual, there are certain attributes that are recognised as universal and commonplace. Red is a colour commonly associated with blood, anger, and strength. Consider how it's used in language. Seeing red, meaning overcome with aggression. Red hot, how I like my sauce. Red-handed, painting the town red, the list goes on. Other than the colour itself, tones are equally relevant to these colour representations. While red is considered a masculine colour, pink is considered less so. This is a modern association, as in medieval Europe, red was the colour of male adulthood, while pink, a diluted red, was the colour for a young man or boy. Look at the characters on screen, representatives of the colour red. Consider if the terms on screen can be applied to both of these characters, despite the many personality differences that they possess. Blue, much cooler in colour association, is largely affected by tone. Darker blues represent knowledge, integrity, and seriousness, while lighter colours suggest serenity, purity, and loyalty. Consider how blue is used in language. Blue moon, blue Monday, blue blood, blue ribbon. On screen we have some different characters utilising blue and red. The organisation of colour and the amount to which they're used depict a range of different personality qualities. Superman, for example, is very serious, loyal and pure. The red denotes the anger that burns within him, or the potential for a great destructive fury. Supergirl also, although her power is somewhat detracted by the miniskirt that she decides to wear with her costume. Male design at its best, or should I say worst. Yellow. In nature, ask yourselves what the colour yellow represents. Creatures such as wasps and bees are most commonly associated with this colour. These creatures seek to be visible, deterring predators through knowledge of their innate defences. Yellow, a vibrant colour, is enhanced by contrasting it with dark colours such as black. In heraldry, yellow indicates honour and loyalty. Later the meaning of yellow was connected with cowardice, with terms such as yellow belly or having a yellow streak. Black, the colour of darkness. Ninjas and assassins wore black to blend into the darkness, with characters such as the Grim Reaper dressing solely in black. Consider how the colour is used in language. Black tie for a formal affair, black-hearted when referring to me, blackout, black death, black belt. Black is a serious colour. We are innately less comfortable within the darkness, as a single misstep could lead to injury or into the jaws of a predator hiding out of sight. Green, the colour of nature. We are more attuned to variations in the colour green than any other colour in the spectrum. Many people believe that this is based on the early days of humanity, where those able to better see disturbances in the grass, trees or undergrowth had a better chance of survival, and thus this trait was bred into us by those better able to survive. In heraldry, green indicates growth and hope. Green, as opposed to red, means safety, and is the beloved colour of free passage on the road. Let's consider how green is used in language. Green thumb notates an affinity with nature, particularly when working with plants. I know this because I have a black thumb, the Grim Reaper to all that is natural. Sometimes green denotes a lack of experience, for example a green horn being a novice. It can also be used to suggest when someone is filled with envy. Or in video games, green is a positive colour when associated with health. And let's not forget those dollar bills, y'all. Students should read and reread the Assignment 3 Light and Colour Brief. I'm going to provide you all with line art images. You're going to choose one line art image and distinguish two characters from that line art based solely on your choice and application of colours. As seen with the Superman on screen, colour can distinctly distinguish the narrative goals of a design. The Superman on the left, in black and contrasting silver, is a bad man. You can see this on his expression also, and he can clearly smell what the Rock is cooking. Your colour choices are going to be defined by two emotional terms that you'll choose for each one of your characters. You will research colours and characters associated with the emotions in order to compile a reference sheet for each of the two distinct characters. I encourage you all to refer back to this lecture and to put real consideration into the connotations of your chosen colours. An understanding of colour and deliberate colour choice to achieve specific emotional goals will be vital here to get you started, as well as in future assignments where colour is utilised. You're encouraged to visualise a character in advance and choose two terms to articulate these characteristics. Remember that you have to create two distinct characters with colour alone, so make the pair of emotional terms that you decide upon distinctly different. Examples of this would be honourable and brave for one character, then devious and mysterious for another. With these terms alone, we get a general idea of the type of character that we're trying to create. When you've played around with terms and chosen a few that you're happy with for each character, you're going to create reference sheets for each of these guys, with a compilation of images that will support your later colour choices. Your reference sheet can be comprised of other characters who embody your chosen emotions, colour swatch images, or anything that you feel is relevant. With your reference sheet compiled, you're going to extract colours from this sheet to try in different combinations for your chosen line art. For each single character, you'll create 5 experimentations with different colours. This is what's known as a swatch sheet. Creating a separate reference sheet and colour swatch sheet for each character, you'll choose your favourite colour combination from each swatch sheet to advance to your final colour design. Based on future lighting lectures, you're then going to apply emotive lighting to each of these characters to enhance the visual narrative of each. The concepts discussed here will be developed in future assignments and through future workshops, and with you guys asking questions about practice and principle in the Discord and Zoom chat rooms. To see previous student submissions for this assignment, go to Blackboard, Student Work Examples, then Assignment 3. When advancing to future discussions of light and shadow, you'll add additional consideration for the use of highlight and reflection that defines the material, which will be discussed later. This has been your Week 3 lecture, The Psychology of Colour. Please enjoy this picture of my cat, and I'll see you all in the virtual classroom. Happy sketching!